What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my podcast. I'm G-Dub, and today we're going to talk about if you needed to buy anything at all, you need to be buying it right now. We've got about 4 to 6 weeks before all of these shortages that are happening over in China are going to start showing up on our shelves in the United States. And so if there is a cell phone you need to buy, if there is a laptop that you need, if there is a camera, if there is anything like that that you needed to purchase in the near future, you probably are going to want to start doing it, or, at least start sourcing and finding what you want and then seeing the availability, because it is going to be hard to get stuff coming up here in just a little bit. And so I don't think people quite realize until it's going to be too late. So, people just need to be aware that all those manufacturing hubs and all of those factories that are closed down in China right now, that is going to affect us. And it always happens later on down the road. We may not see it for a month or two, but it is going to hit us. And so, we really need to be prepared. I think China is in a really tough spot right now, and they probably have always been in a tough spot since COVID because of the decisions that they've made, locking everything down and being so strict. And we never get the true numbers from China. So everybody always talks about double-digit numbers of China's growth. Now, this year they're talking about, they're hoping for like a 3, maybe 5% growth, which I don't even know if that is even possible, but I guess we'll find out and we'll see. But we know that China cooks their books. Nothing that they put out we can trust 100%. I mean, we can't even trust our government, and our government is way more trustful than the CCP. So we can't trust anything, and the only thing that I can really see that I can go off of are the videos of people that are either in China or they're Chinese and they live in America and they cover China, and maybe they know how what websites and where to get videos that are from actual people, and getting a real good idea of what is actually going on in China. Because I see a lot of stuff on especially YouTube, and it is very different. Some channels will show China as they've got everything under control, they're taking over the United States, and we just don't stand a chance. And then there's other sources that I will watch, and they'll say China doesn't have a chance. They're not going to last 5 years before they collapse under their own mismanagement, really. And so I don't know. It's hard to say. I think that anything is possible, but I know that communism doesn't work. You get that? Communism doesn't work. So it wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't go down, or if they go down and they don't strive and shoot to the top like some China shills are doing. I don't wish anything bad on anybody, and especially because we all know the people who get affected are the middle class and the poor. It's like the rich people and the people literally in the government, they aren't going to be affected. They may not be able to live as lavish of a life, but they're still going to be okay. They're not going to be the ones starving to death, losing their jobs, losing their retirement, not even to mention the housing crisis that they've got going on over there with that Evergrande company, and how they basically just set up the biggest Ponzi scheme for housing. And it was a real shame, because a lot of people in China, they didn't trust the stock market and a lot of other things, so they invested into real estate. Well, and then the real estate companies were in cahoots with the government, doing a bunch of illegal and crazy stuff, taking money from here to pay here, getting more loans. I mean, they just got so big and so in debt, and now, and surprise, surprise, we haven't heard anything about it. And so that probably tells you that it's all bad for them. And so, but what we can see is there are starting to be like protests, and I've heard people calling for Xi. I mean, things are not looking good over in the red country. And so it sucks because we are so dependent on China. Everything we get comes from them, and they create a lot of stuff. I mean, even medications and food. I mean, it is nuts. Let's just see real quick, what are some of the biggest, what are some of the biggest imports from China to US? And my computer's running slow. What the hell? Electrical machinery and equipment, machinery and mechanical appliances, toys, sports equipment, plastics, furniture, and bedding. Well, I mean, so, okay, let's see. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Electrical machinery and equipment. This category includes items like computers, smartphones, and other electronic devices. So there it is. So that right there, I mean, literally. Luckily for me, I just, my old phone had hit like 5 years, and last year I bought a new phone, and so I'm okay for right now. And so, but that would be something that you're going to want to look into for sure. Machinery and mechanical appliances. This includes a wide range of industrial machinery, equipment, and components. I'm going to assume, like, for my work, that's going to be parts for equipment. That's going to be computer boards for equipment, and China makes everything. And so I bet you all prices on all that type of stuff is going to go up. Rational ovens, the ovens that every fancy restaurant and every hotel and anyone anywhere that makes good food uses inside their restaurant, those prices are going up for sure. I mean, really what I should do is I should probably take like 20 or 30 grand and go buy all Rationale parts and then just sit on them and then just sell them as soon as they start drying up and people can't get them. I won't be gouging, but I could stand to make a decent profit, because that's how I'm thinking and what I see on the horizon. It's like the PCB, the computer for that oven is $2,300 right now. It was, like $1,600 a couple years ago. Could have been $1,300 before COVID. But so, yeah, so that right there is going to be major. Toys, games, and sports equipment. China is a major supplier of toys, games, and sporting goods to the U.S. market. I mean, if you're in sports, then that means probably your equipment and all the stuff you use to play sports is going to go up. So that's going to suck. That's going to be a silent tax on fun and your children. That's not going to be cool. Plastics. A variety of plastic products, from household items to industrial parts, are imported from China. That makes sense. I mean, everything that we have, all the little plastic handles and brooms and all that type of stuff, that all comes from China. So I can imagine that stuff is going to start potentially becoming more expensive to source. Furniture and bedding. China is a major exporter of furniture, bedding, and related items to the U.S. So we all know about that. Visualizing America's top imports. Okay, so let's just see. Visualizing America's top imports from China. Maybe it's got a... Boom. Okay, so here it is. So we've got at least like a graph. I'm a visual type of person, and I like to see visual stuff. So smartphone, 76% of our smartphones come from China. Laptops, 78%. Lithium-ion batteries, 70%. Toys, 77%. Video game consoles, the Switch 2. I think they're talking about, everybody was mad about it being $450 that's coming up. That thing's going to be like $700 in 2 years, probably. You watch, even though I don't think it comes from China. It may come from somewhere else. But either way, that is on the horizon right there. So, so being able to see a little bit of a visual, that's kind of cool, because that breaks it down. I mean, so basically anything with batteries made it to where China makes everything that we need and we rely on. Sure, are Trump tariffs gonna bring business back to the United States? Undoubtedly. Is that gonna make stuff cheap for us? No, not right now, and not with all what's going on over in China. It is going to be a super sucky side effect of the tariffs, of watching stuff go up. There's no way it can't. I mean, unless they strike a deal tomorrow and then they open all those factories up and all those factories don't close down and there's still competition over there, because that's what's going on right now. The factories are closing down. The big ones are the only ones that could survive. It's going to mess up competition. When you don't have competition in capitalism, that's what pushes prices down. They were just starting to kind of get a little bit more capitalistic in China. Well, now that things are going to get super crazy, I can imagine probably like how our government would do is then they will put more government. And so here's one more picture. I guess we'll just see real fast. Let's see. So this is based by state. Which U.S. states imports the most from China? So, that's probably pretty good. I'm in California, so 25%. So, it looks like that's a gigantic number compared to a lot of these other states. So surprise, surprise, high prices are in my future. Like I'm not used to it already. Man, California's ridiculous. So, yep. So you could see over here that most states are right around 10%, maybe around the 20% on the high. We are at 25, 26%, which makes sense because we're on the Pacific Ocean, so they probably send a lot more stuff over to our side, though I would imagine they send a bunch of stuff to New York as well. But so, that would make sense. So, wow. So people in California, everybody that I know, you're going to have to really heed this message and warning more than anybody else, because that's what's going to be going down is prices are going to go up. And that the politicians are just itching to make prices go up. Gases, the prices, they want to make those go up too. Guaranteed. They're just waiting for reasons to make the price go up. I'm going to be probably buying actually like a new camera I'm looking into. It's like because I need to get one now because in a year or so I may not be able to get it, or it's going to be $1,000 more than it is now. So I'm going to try and do the best to hedge some of those expensive costs. So maybe you could do the same. But thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.